We are back with the adventures of Grace and her attitude of attitudiness. And we explored Schloss Ritter a little bit, the castle, and the town. We met Huber, Humber, the guy it's the cousin of the guy that asked Gabriel to help him about the werewolf situation. Grace kind of poked a little bit until she found out about what Gabriel was working on. And now she found a secret passageway that led from Gabriel's dressing room to also a secret entrance or exit and to Gertie's room where she stole a key. And now we need to go and figure out what that key goes to. But I'm sure we can pretty much already guess where it goes to. Hello?
I'll just bet I know what this unlocks.
My chastity belt. No. No one would want to be there with Grace. That's just... But if you haven't guessed...
It's locked.
Then it goes to... Hello? It goes to the door. So here we are in the Schloss Ritter Library. We have books, books, more books. We have a desk, and more books, and a desk, and more books. But we need to go ahead and try and find information about a werewolf trial that took place in Rittersburg at around the 1700s or so to narrow down the date so we can get the records of it. So let's start looking.
Books on the occult.
Here we go.
Vampires, witchcraft, ghosts, Asian spirits. Lycanthropes.
The only one book that's not in the middle of a bunch of different colored books.
How did you get in here?
Oh, hi.
How did you unlock the door?
Not with that key.
Oh, I see.
All right. Look, let's just drop all the pretense, okay? Obviously, I found the passageway. I know what's been going on in this little Alpinian love nest, and really, I couldn't care less. If you want to screw around with your employer, that's none of my business. But what I won't put up with is assisting the Schottenjäger crap. I gave up school to work on this stuff because I thought it was important. I'm doing the research that Gabriel wanted, and so help me, I'm gonna be doing more than just research this time around. And I'm not gonna sit around and wait for him to call and give me permission. And if you don't like it, it's just too damn bad!
Okay, fine. You do the damn research. Damn it.
You think? Once again, up to 11. Needed to be about a 9. You're up here, Grace. You needs to be down here. Not here. Not here so much. Right here. That's the line you need to toe. Oh. And then she's like, if you want to sit there and bang your boss, and it's like, there's nothing that even remotely suggested that that was what was going on, and you're just automatically going, you're a slut, a slooty, slooter, slutter. because those are words. So do we have the book? We have a lycanthropy book. Let's look at it. Oh boy, this is going to be a read.
Chapter 3. Lycanthropy. The Ways of the Wolf.
Oh, is she going to read it?
There are two categories of werewolf cases: false or lycanthropic disorder cases and genuine werewolf cases. Lycanthropic disorder. Lycanthropic disorder is a mental condition in which the subject, called a lycanthrope, believes that he or she is a werewolf. The subject does not actually change shape, but is nevertheless capable of being as dangerous as an actual werewolf. Most cases of supposed werewolfery are really the work of lycanthropic disorder victims, man to beast. In real werewolves, a physical change to wolf form does occur. The change can be voluntary, at will, or can be forced by certain cycles of the moon and certain sounds, such as howling.
So there's two forms. You can have someone who thinks they're a werewolf, but is more of like a werewolf poser, but still is dangerous because they do all the little not good stuff that werewolves do. And then there's actual werewolves that change with when they want, during certain cycles of the moon, and hearing howling. Which, if you're walking down certain streets in the middle of the night, that's gonna be changing.
Werewolves and immortality. Werewolves are immune from aging and from most physical diseases due to the constant regeneration of their physical tissue. They can therefore be virtually immortal. However, they can be killed by any wound that destroys the heart or the brain, or any form of death that causes brain or heart damage, such as hanging or other oxygen deprivation methods. The mind of a werewolf. Though primarily a true wolf while in wolf form, there is some proof that the werewolf retains enough knowledge to assist his killing. Recognition of victims, evasion of traps, and human cunning have all been seen on werewolf cases. Becoming a werewolf. There are several ways to become a werewolf. They include being given the power of shape-shifting through sorcery, being cursed by someone whom you have wronged in some way, called the Lyconia curse, being bitten by a werewolf, and being born to a werewolf. In each case, the blood of the subject becomes tainted or cursed. Damnation. A person who becomes a werewolf against his will, birth, curse, or bite, is not completely damned until he tastes of human blood. Once he does, his soul is eternally damned and nothing may redeem him. Even without tasting of human blood, however, as long as the taint lays upon the immortal soul, it cannot enter into heaven and will remain chained to the mortal plane upon death.
Oh, there's a lot of pages. We're learning so much today.
Werewolf packs. Like real wolves, werewolves can live alone for many years, yet the instinct for a pack often leads them away from their secretive lifestyles into revealing their nature to a priest or close associate, or converting another to werewolfery for companionship. This is when the otherwise cagey werewolf opens himself to detection. Werewolf packs cause immense destruction. A pack consists of one werewolf who became a werewolf through sorcery, birth, or curse. In other words, his is the original tainted blood. This werewolf is called the alpha werewolf. The remaining werewolves in the pack are called beta werewolves because they became werewolves through the bite of the alpha and carry the alpha's tainted blood. Alpha and beta werewolves. The relationship between alpha and beta werewolves is a complex one. Once a subject is bitten by a werewolf, his or her life and death are doomed to the werewolf curse. The victim does, however, have some hope. As long as they themselves do not taste of human blood, the curse is reversible. If the alpha werewolf is killed through some action of the beta's curse is broken. It is important to note that whether the beta werewolf was bitten by the alpha werewolf himself or by another beta, it is the alpha who must be destroyed, the source of the original tainted blood. It is also an interesting note that since betas and alphas share the same common blood, an alpha cannot physically harm a beta of his own bloodline by his own hand without inflicting the same injury upon himself. However, if a beta is harmed or killed by another, it does not affect the alpha.
There, we are getting a lot of information. So werewolf packs consist of the alpha, which is basically the one that was first turned, and then other people who have been turned by the alpha. And then that basically goes to explain that the alpha, who the alpha is, who the betas are, and that the betas can, however, be turned. The curse isn't permanent as long as they don't taste human blood, and they have to kill the alpha. And it's then betas, and it's just so much. But all of this information is important down the line.
Symptoms of werewolfery. When hunting for a werewolf, it is important to remember that your biggest clues will come through your suspects' personalities. Becoming a werewolf is not transparent, no matter how the victim tries to hide it. The tainted subhuman blood greatly alters the subject's own mind and personality, even physical appearance. Therefore, look for symptoms in your human suspects that include increasing violence, increasing aggression, unprovoked rages, insomnia, restlessness, and other bizarre behavior. Unfortunately, over time, these symptoms can be brought under control, so do not rely upon them exclusively. A good example of this comes from a case reported by the ancient priesthood society Manos del Sol of Brazil. A rash of werewolf killings there was tracked to a high-ranking officer in the army. The society became aware of the man mainly through rumors of his violent behavior and changed personality. The case was successfully resolved with a man's capture.
Manos del Sol, men of the sun? I wonder if they're like Schottenjägers, only Brazilian.
That kind of startled me. I wasn't expecting the louder voice all of a sudden. So we need to go ahead and check out this bookshelf as well.
The Journal of Victor Ritter.
You guessed it, we have more reading to do. But I also want to go ahead and take a look at this little note that was inside the lycanthropy book. So it's Ludwig II von Bajon, whatever.
4th of March, 1864. To King Ludwig II, most gracious ruler of all Bavaria. I beg your forgiveness for my forthrightness in this letter, but I fear terribly for your Majesty's safety, and thus have no time for subtlety. I have heard that the one they call the Black Wolf is close to your Highness. I have been investigating this man for reasons I cannot name at present, and I have learned that he is extremely dangerous and can only have the most dire of motives at heart in anything he pursues. I beg your Highness only this. Please do not see this man alone, nor even with your servants only to guard you. I promise you, all will be made clear very shortly when my investigation is complete. For now, only keep yourself safe. Your most grateful servant, Christian von Ritter, Schloss Ritter, Rittersburg, Bavaria.
So there was someone who was being hunted supposedly by the Black Wolf. And we have the journal from 1720 to 1753, so we're, as you can guess, this little incident's going to be between these years. So let's get, it's a lot. Let's get into it.
Numerous deaths at the hands of the marauding wolf being recorded in a neighboring county, I set out to see if I could determine the cause. There had been rumors of a werewolf, and the dark signs did indeed seem to be present. The deaths had all occurred within a 40-kilometer range of woods, and at the heart was the village of Alfing. My assistant and I set a trap a short distance from the village. Though the beast had shown a propensity for human flesh, livestock had also been taken. It was a newling lamb we loosed in the thicket as a lure. We awaited downwind. For 2 nights the lamb bleated to no purpose, and once we had to fend off a hungry fox. But at last the beast himself took the bait. I might have missed him. The night was so dark, and the wolf himself was black. But my assistant saw the light of his eyes, and I heard the lamb's cries turn fearful. He had the poor dumb lamb by the throat when we sprang. He was swift, and might have escaped, but his fatal mistake was to attack rather than run. My dagger struck through his chest and into his right lung. As I had agreed, we bound the wolf and tied shut its jaws. We brought it home to Rittersburg, still breathing, and turned it over to the magistrate. I pray for the man's unfortunate soul. May the law be swift and merciful. God be praised for aiding his servant. From his hand came the strength and wisdom to end the killing. Victor Ritter, Schottenjäger, 20 April 1750.
So we have a date now, and with a date, we can get more information on that as to what happened inside the town at that time. So we need to head out. Actually, no, we need to head back in, I think. Let's head back in. Can we go over here? Oh no.
I suppose in the next Blake Backlash book, good old Fujitsu will be replaced by Hildegard.
Oh gosh.
Hard at work, Knight?
What a... Sheesh. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and take the card and use it on the phone.
Hello?
Professor Barkley, this is Grace Nakamura. I'm calling from Germany.
Germany? I thought you were in New Orleans.
I was, but anyway, it's rather important or I wouldn't have bothered you. Do you know anything about King Ludwig II of Bavaria?
Well, that's a hell of a thing to ask a man in the middle of the night. Late 1800s, right?
Yes.
This isn't really my field, but I think he was crazy. Or something.
I wish I knew. Do you know anyone who specializes in German history?
Yeah, I have a friend at the University of Berlin. I'll ring him. What's your number there?
It's 4989-555-7878.
Okay, I'll call you back if I remember this conversation in the morning anyway.
Great. Sorry again. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
That was back when you had phones attached to wires, kids. No, crazy time. Crazy time. Also, if I ask to say, the actor that did that dude, pretty bad. He was pretty bad. So we need to now go ahead to the village and see if we can dig up some more information. Oh boy, this is going to be awkward. Should I see how awkward this is going to be?
I don't have anything to say to her right now.
Oh, guess it's not going to be awkward at all. Yeah, okay, we've seen that. Seen that. We need to go back and speak to that one guy. That one guy. Hello.
Hello again. Did you need something else?
I just want to stare at you.
Remember that werewolf trial I'd asked you about? I have a date now. April 1750.
Excellent. Let me go look. I heard of this case when I was a boy, but I always thought it was just a scary tale. I never thought to look in the archives. It was there, all right. What did you want to know?
We need to ask about all these things.
Why did they bring the wolf to Rittersburg? I know the Schottenjäger lived here, but why didn't he just...
Kill it where he found it? I don't know. Let's see. Ah, yes. They wanted to know what man it was, who it was.
They brought it here so it would change back?
Yes, exactly.
What happened to the alleged werewolf?
He was interrogated for 2 days. He confessed his guilt. The trial took place on the 3rd day, and he was sentenced to death by quartering and the stake. He was given a final meal. He asked to see a confessor, and this was granted. He died at dawn the following day.
They pulled off his limbs and burned him?
Don't think harshly of us, miss. That was a long time ago.
You see that face? Like, oh yeah, that's an excuse. It was only hundreds of years ago. It's been a while since I played this one, and the character of Grace is just like not as good as I remember. It's pretty bad so far. Like I feel like they just kind of got her whole personality wrong. Like from the first game, Grace, she had this kind of attitude, yes, but it was more of like jesting and snarky and sarcastic, whereas the iteration in this one so far is just her being bitchy for the most part, and it's
Where was the werewolf kept while it was here?
The dungeon. There's a dungeon in the rat house basement. We don't use it anymore, of course. Haven't for many years.
Did it change back?
That's what it says. They put the wolf in a cell, and the next morning they found a man in there. A laborer from out of town identified him as Baron von Raleck from Alfing.
Why did they want to find out who the werewolf was?
I would guess... Yes. It says here that a group of villagers were sent to the werewolf's hometown once they learned its human identity.
Why? They thought there were more of them there?
In those days, the family of the identified werewolf would be in great danger. Many believed such curses were handed down through the bloodline. Was there anything else?
I suppose not. Unless... Is there any way I could see the dungeon?
It would be my pleasure.
Everything's been kept the way it was when the dungeon was in use. We show it off to tourists sometimes. Are you all right, miss?
I'm fine. It's just that this place is so claustrophobic.
I tell you what, normally this place is locked to keep out the village children. I'll leave it open. You can come and go as you please.
Would you? Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. Goodbye, and good luck.
Bye.
Yay, she got seen things and the music is very creepy. Very creepy.
Von Rollick slept here.
So that's where the dude slept.
He asked to see a confessor.
So he asked to see someone from the church to confess his crimes to. And there should be one more thing somewhere. Where is it? I don't remember. That's the bed. That's not it. Hello? Where are you? Little piece of clue. Wait, is that it? No. Was I pointing at the door? No, I was pointing at her feet. Wait. Wait. Think I saw it. Thought I saw it. I didn't see it. Clack. But we'll call it a day here, friends, and when we come back, we'll see if we can find that one piece of thing I'm looking for, and we'll continue on getting more information about the werewolf case that happened in Rittersburg itself. Till then, y'all take care, and of course, have a good one.